Videos like that are one of the reasons why I have always had this really special connection with the international indigenous community, and why I feel more seen and more heard by the international indigenous community, and why I feel like I have more in common with those internationally who are indigenous than I do with those in the United States. And that is no disrespect to any tribes in the United States. Don't take this the wrong way. Love y'all, obviously. I just wish sometimes, and that's not all, because there's a lot of tribes and there's a lot of people who are out here standing on business, who are warriors, who are doing it big time, who are out here really, really, really out here challenging colonization and colonialism, challenging the colonizer every day. So I'm not even talking about y'all. But there are a select few of you out here who aren't doing anything, who sit on your butt and you don't do anything, and you don't stand up to these colonizers. You don't stand up to care enough about Turtle Island and what happens to it, you know? And when I see videos like this of the Maori people of so-called New Zealand, when I see them out there and they're in Parliament and young people, young Indigenous Maori people are out there in Parliament doing their thing, right? They're young. They are fighting for their Indigenous rights. The Parliament tries to take more and more rights away from Indigenous Maori people every day. And there are young people who are a part of Parliament who are doing their thing. They are out there, they are fighting for their Indigenous rights, and they are making a ruckus. And they are doing things like that. And they're doing the Haka, and they're doing things that are so important to their people. And they're not just sitting there, and they're not just, passively letting things pass in these legislative branches and doing all of these things to let bills pass and, not doing anything to support or help their communities. They are actually out there doing things to make things better for their people, right? And I absolutely, positively, 100% love that. And I just wish I saw more of it in this country. Okay? I just wish I saw more of it on Turtle Island. Okay? Because yes, there are people who do it, and I'm appreciative of you, and I love you, and you are amazing, and I'm here with you heart to heart. But there's a lot of more of you who are not doing anything. And it really bothers me because I think about our ancestors and the things they did to combat colonization, to combat colonialism, to combat these colonizers. And they fought and they died for it. And some of them are still here, but a lot of them fought and died for it. And we're not doing nearly as enough here in this country that those abroad, those in other Indigenous places are doing. We're just not. And it's like that warrior spirit comes out. And I don't know if it's just the fact that, I don't know if it's the Kanaka Maoli people in general. I don't know what it is, but there's something so special and sacred about them. And that might be why I've always loved Maori people and people from so-called New Zealand. I just love y'all. And I think you all are amazing. And every day when you step outside, you are presenting yourself in a way where the colonizers know not to mess with you. And you stand on business 10 toes down. And that always brings me so much joy, because I'm just like, we need people like you out in the world, because we're never going to get anything done. Never. We never are going to get anything done. We are never going to challenge these colonizers and make them shake in their boots. We're just not. And that, to me, is how you disrupt things in a manner where they are shaken to know that they are going to have to deal with us. They cannot just sit around and take away more and more Indigenous rights away from our people. We are going to stand on business, and we are going to fight them tooth and nail. We are going to be a part of their colonial systems. We are going to be part of their parliaments. We're going to be part of their congresses and whatever it is, and we're going to be there to challenge you every step of the way when you try to take away more and more rights away from indigenous people, more and more rights away from the planet that we reside on. And we are going to fight you tooth and nail. And it's just so inspiring, truly inspiring to see that happen. And I just love it every time I see it. And I just have such a love and admiration for the Māori people of so-called New Zealand. And I always will. And I have since I was really little. Like, my mom has friends who live in so-called New Zealand who are Māori and who I have learned things from in my lifetime. And it has just always been so incredibly moving, not only, culturally, but spiritually, to watch y'all really, really, really take on these people and to really, really fight against these colonizers, to protect your culture, to protect your waterways, to protect the earth, and to make sure that your culture is intact and that they cannot come and they will not take away your land, your culture, things that you find sacred. They will not do that, and you will fight them on that, and you will show up, and you will do it. And that's maybe why every time I see some kind of expression like this, if it's a Haka, like, I am obsessed, because it's like every time you do it, it's just so freaking powerful. Like, it is so powerful. And in a setting like this, where there are so many Māori people in that parliament standing with you, you are one of the youngest women in parliament. And there are other Māori people who are there standing with you against these egregious bills and such that want to take more and more freedoms away from you all, the indigenous Māori people of Aotearoa. I really hope I said that right. I've been trying to say it correctly. Aotearoa, so-called New Zealand. So props and kudos forever to the young people, to the indigenous people, to the Māori people who are out here, and they are showing up and showing out and reminding these colonizers that you cannot and will not take away our rights. You cannot and will not come and try to continue to take over our lands and dictate how much of our culture we get to be a part of, we get to be, because you've tried in the past and it didn't work, because we're still here and we're still fighting, and we're going to continue to fight continually, because that's who we are. We are warriors, we are fighters, we are incredible humans, and we will continue to fight you on these legislations and on these, bills and whatever other colonial thing you think you can just come out here and show up and show out with. You can't, you won't, and we will fight you continually. And I will forever, ever be in awe of the Maori people and their fight for liberation from these colonizers. And I just wish sometimes that more indigenous people from Turtle Island could do this. And it's not that people are not doing it over here, because I've seen it and I cheer it on, and I am so impressed and I am so in awe, and every time I see it, I just want to cheer you on continually. I just wish it happened more. And it just feels like it's not as much. And I wish that we could see more of what we see over in Aotearoa, so-called New Zealand. I want to see more of that here. I really, really do. But shout out to this young lady. Shout out to all the Maori in Parliament who did this. This is incredible. I am in awe and I am inspired, and I just love it. And I love the way you show up in the world. And I love your people and your culture and your spiritual beliefs. and everything that you do, because you are a real testament and showing to other Indigenous people around the world that this is how we have to show up to these colonizers. This is how we have to show up to them.